and then a question. The issue is the illegal voting, right here in front of you, Mike.
Hey, Mom.
By way of background, in my first election in 1982, the Democrats rigged 25% of the voting machines to vote for everybody on the ballot but me. That was 11 out of 45 machines. The whole state was Democrat, so while it was an admission of the rigging of the voting machines, nothing was done to fix it. In September of this past year, 5 weeks before the election, by way of background, Alabama has a state statute that requires proof of citizenship before you can register to vote. And there are over a dozen documents you can produce. The United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia entered an order barring the state of Alabama, Kansas, and I believe another state from enforcing their law requiring proof of citizenship before you can register to vote, which opened a huge floodgate for illegals and others to register to vote. So I perceive that the president may be spot on as he's identifying this voter fraud problem, although we can't really itemize the magnitude. What can we do to help you, the White House, the president, first, have a requirement that only American citizens can vote in federal elections, and then second, that only those persons who are registered to vote are the ones who actually vote on election day?
Well, thank you, Bob. And I think the president certainly expressed his concerns on this issue as recently as the last 24 hours. And the commitment that we all have, you heard him reflect on it again today, we have an obligation to preserve our democratic institutions and the democratic process. And what I can tell you is that I would anticipate that the administration is going to initiate a full evaluation of voting rolls in the country, the overall integrity of our voting system in the wake of this past election, just because so many Americans share the concern you have, I have, the president certainly has, about people being registered in multiple states. I think it was the Pew Research Center that came out about 4 years ago and literally found millions of people on the rolls improperly all over the country. That very fact alone should give all of us pause, and you can anticipate that we'll be looking for ways to work with you to simply look into it, to follow the facts, to see where the facts go, but that one person, one vote principle is at the very heart of this republic and of our democratic institutions, and it must be defended.
Well, I pledge to support you in any way I can, and just one caveat in case anyone's curious, we still won that election in 1982, but it made it a whole lot tougher.
Thanks, Mom.
Okay, very good. We'll go to Ron DeSantis from Florida. Now, there was someone over here, too, I think. Okay, very good. Thanks. So, Ron DeSantis, Florida.
Welcome, Mr. Vice President. As you know, we've dealt for the last several years with the IRS targeting scandal. Federal courts have said they're still targeting. They haven't changed it. Many of us led an effort to try to remove the IRS commissioner. He testified under oath before Congress that whoever, this was before the election, whoever would win, he'd be happy to tender his resignation. So my question for you is, have you guys discussed that? Do you support getting a new IRS commissioner in there? Does the president, because this is a very troubled agency, and this guy has stonewalled us every step of the way. So my plea to you is to tell the president, get his resignation, and let's start anew.
I'll carry that back, and we can talk further. I can tell you that I and certainly all of us were concerned about the political targeting. Really commend the efforts Congress took to draw that into the public light. So I'll carry that and the support for your statement back, and we'll talk next week.
Okay, gentleman from Alabama, Gary Palmer. He's right up front.
Hi, Gary.
Mr. Vice President, I love saying that. Yesterday, the speaker gave, in my opinion, the best speech I've heard him give. Presented some great challenges to us. It creates some exposure for some members and some risk. And a soldier will run into battle for two reasons a lot of time: love the country, but also love the person at their side. All I'm asking for the members here who are a little concerned about the risk they might be exposed to, will this administration have our back?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
It's a very, very good question, Gary. And the short answer is, you bet. I got to tell you, and I don't know that this has happened for a few years. There's some of us in the room with hair the same color as mine that remember the days of the 40th president who went to the Congress with proposals and then went to the American people to sell the proposals. And I want to tell you, the 45th president has the exact same focus. He is absolutely determined as we talk about this very aggressive agenda and frankly asking the Congress to do a lot of things, do some hard things, and do them quickly. I promise you, the president's going to be on the road in your states and in your districts. I'm going to be on the road in your states and in your districts. And we're going to be taking the message straight to the American people to move these forward. It's a great question, Gary.
Very good. Gentleman from Texas, Pete Olson.
Mr. Vice President,
Stand up if you would, Pete.
great.
Can you stand up?
Hey, Pete.
Have you and Carrie back in Washington, D.C.?
Thank you, Pete.
Now, my friend, as you know, I come from Houston, Texas. Energy capital of the entire world. Our product is liquid freedom. As you know, well, man, American oil.
You'd be great.
As you know, we've had to take the big hit. Thank you for approving Keystone XL pipeline, getting that lowered again, and the pipeline. But that's been just the start. President Obama has shut down the Arctic, onshore, offshore, the Pacific, the Atlantic, more of the Gulf, federal lands, West Mississippi. So my question is, I know it's early, but do you plan to address this quickly? And how can we help get this turned around? Because again, let's export American freedom to pure American oil.
Well, thanks. Well, what I can tell you is, and I appreciate and will share with the President all of your enthusiasm, and it was evident to him today about his decision about Keystone and Dakota. Felt very strongly about moving on that quickly. The President, I think it might have been back in the day that we might have minted the term all of the above energy strategy. And I got to tell you, President Trump believes in an all of the above energy strategy, and he wants all of the above right now. We're going to develop America's resources, and frankly, I would love for all of you to be leaning in. I've talked to some folks, I've talked to some of the Alaska delegation, I've talked to people around them. Let us know where those opportunities are if they're not already moving, and we're going to get after it. And that's going to drive an American recovery, an American energy recovery. So get ready.
Very good. Last question goes to the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Yoho.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Vice President Pence, for being here. Can you kind of allude or give us an idea of the policy the administration's taken in regards to China with the One China policy, with Taiwan right there, our 9th largest trading partner, and we do so much trade there, to set a tone of the way forward?
Well, what I can tell you is President Trump is really determined to have a new start with the wider world, including China, including Russia, including nations around the planet. I mean, the truth is, the last 8 years, we've been leading from behind. I mean, I hold the view that that many of the challenges that we've seen, whether it be the construction in the South China Sea or the utter disarray and Russian aggression in the Middle East and in Crimea, are a result of the lack of American leadership and resolve. And I think the President feels precisely the same way. But that being said, I think what you've heard the President say, and you'll hear him say again, is he's someone that is ready to reach a hand out to the world and say, can we put something new together? Can we find common cause and common purpose, and particularly when it comes to bringing together countries around the world to hunt down and destroy ISIS and confront radical Islamic terrorism? I truly do believe that he is determined to look for a fresh start. But at the same time, I was at the press conference, some of you might have seen before the inauguration. It was in New York. Had a few reporters show up. It was unbelievable. But you know, in the room, he said, look, he said it would be a good thing if we got along better with Russia. And then, I don't know if you caught it, but he said, maybe we won't. But I think what you have in President Donald Trump is someone who exudes a confidence in the world that he's prepared to step onto the world stage and say, well, what about it? But, let's first reset the respect that the American people in the United States of America deserves on the world stage, and then explore opportunities to advance America's interests first, but also in relation to other countries around the world. So whether it be China, whether it be Russia, whether it be other countries around the world, I think what you will see in President Trump, in our new Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, and the policies of the administration, is a policy that puts America first, is broad-shouldered and strong and clear. You heard some of that clarity at the podium today with regard to one international interaction. But beyond that, I think there is going to be a desire to explore opportunities for renewed collaboration, renewed alliances, but always, always, always putting America first.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, House, Senate, please join me
Thank
in
you all very
thanking
much.
our
Wonderful to be with you. God bless.